fuck I'm saying. Oh, by the way, also, yeah, sorry, I should probably let you know. Sometimes I say fuck. Sometimes I cry. Sometimes I say fuck while I'm crying. Those are the ground rules. I'm sorry if you have kids in the audience, you know this. If you don't, sorry. Sorry, not sorry. You know, they need to learn this word at some point. Hi, how's everybody doing? Good? Are you stoked to like be back at a convention and with your fellow nerds? It's so great. It's so great. Thank you, by the way, for everybody that's come by my table, that's come by and said hi or gotten a signature or a selfie. I love you guys. It means the world to me. It means the world to all of us out there. So by the way, please go and just keep visiting all your favorite people out there because that's why we're here. We're here for you. So there you go. All right, well, if you've been to one of my panels, you understand that it's pretty freeform, and I'm just gonna leave it up to you guys to ask me questions. So, does anybody have any questions that are burning holes in your pocket? You have a question. What, is there a certain place where people go? Over there. If you have a question, please go over there and be seen and be counted. All right. It is so weird. By the way, I don't know if anybody else here, I was lucky enough to be able to shoot a couple movies during the pandemic now, and so you end up working with, and I don't know if anybody else here has had this situation, but I would work with these crews, and every day I'm seeing the same people for 2 months, 3 months, but I'm only seeing half their face. And then one day after 2 months of knowing John, whoever John is, and then John, I see a moment where he takes his mask down to drink a water, and I go, that's not what you look like. Because I made it up in my mind. Isn't it so weird how you do that? You look at the top half of somebody's face and you go, your mind just fills in the blanks. And then all of a sudden they show you the blank, you go, no, that's not right. Try again. Yes, question, let's do it.
Hi Zachary, I'm Josh Mendez, and I'm really happy that you came back for another encore from 2 years ago. So
yes, sir.
My main question is, what was it like to be playing as Flynn Rider, and how did you get the role to be playing that character?
What was it like to play Flynn Rider, and how did I get the role? Well, I got it because I was the best. It's true. So playing Flynn Rider was awesome. I say this jokingly, but I'm always kind of joking around, but legitimately, I think it's, other than Aladdin, who was kind of my prince growing up, right? I think a lot of us, he was the first dude Disney prince, kind of, right? That had his own movie. So, and Robin Williams as the genie is probably the greatest animated role ever done. So I have a big soft spot for Aladdin. Other than Aladdin, I am the best Disney prince. I will fight anyone. It's true. I'm the Han Solo of Disney princes. Come on. A ruffian and a scoundrel, and a nerf herder. Being Flynn Rider, or Eugene Fitzherbert for the initiated, is an absolute dream come true. I grew up being a total Disney nerd. I went to Disneyland all the time. I grew up in Southern California. If you're a Cali kid or you're a West Coast kid, you went to Disneyland. And if you're an East Coast kid, you went to Disney World. We had the small version, but the OG version. And you guys, if you went to, I still haven't been to Disney World. That's a little disappointing. I gotta get to Disney World. But, so I loved all things Disney. I still love all things Disney. So that I got to be a Disney prince was the craziest dream ever. And I got the job, maybe some of you guys have heard this before, but they were originally not even seeing, they wouldn't read American actors. Flynn originally had a British accent, and they were only reading British actors. And it was only because my voiceover agent knew that I did a decent British accent, and they were just hounding the casting director. So I'm going, please see him. He really wants, I was like, yes, please, let me know. And then I went in and I auditioned, and it was like Flynn Rider. I was this. It wasn't even my voice. I was doing something completely different. And then I got the job, and then they go, we've never had a lead male, the prince and princess of every Disney movie all have American kind of accents. So we kind of need Flynn to have an American accent. I was like, okay. And they go, I shit you not. They go, can you do that? I was like, you mean this? You mean just this? They go, oh yeah, okay, you can do it. Great. It was so weird. Anyway, that's how I got Flynn Rider. And for all of you who have seen and loved Tangled, thank you. I love you. We really are so proud of that movie. I wish that it would have got a little more love when it came out, but it doesn't matter because people keep finding it. And the series was really fun too. I don't know if you guys have seen the series, Tangled series. It's great. And again, it's because I think it's done in that very classic Disney way, which is you make something for the child in everyone. You don't make it for kids. You make it for the child in everyone. So there's got to have intelligence. There's got to be like, you know, cohesive storytelling and really charming actors. And, you know, so it was great. Thank you. Great question. Next question.
Yeah. Hi, Zach. It's really great to meet you. Yeah. I was wondering, what was it like doing Alvin and the Chipmunks squeak?
Ooh, that feather in the cap. You know what? It was a trip, man. I had never really done anything where I hadn't really done a lot of like green screen or, you know, pretending there's things out there that you gotta like be afraid of, dragons, whatever. So when I was doing Alvin and the Chipmunks at Squeakquel, which by the way, is just such a great name. By the way, the third one was called Chipwrecked. It was Chipwrecked. It was a shipwreck. Anyway, so I didn't see that one. But anyway, I hear there's a boat involved. So Alvin and the Chipmunks at Squeakquel was, I mean, look, it was kind of like one of the first movies. I did a movie called Big Mama's House 2 before Alvin and the Chipmunks at Squeakquel. I was very good at being in sequels. Then I ended up being Fandral in the second four. Nobody would ever hire me to be in the first one. It was always after the first one. But anyway, it was so weird because we had, not to spoil this for anyone out there who still thinks the chipmunks are real, but we had these stuffed animals. We called them stuffies. And the props department had these long telescoping poles with like grabby arms on them. And they had the chipmunks at the ends of each one of these like telescoping. And then I would sit there, you know, I would be sitting on the couch being Toby playing video games. Pew, pew, pew. And that's a deep cut reference for anybody who's seen that movie. Anyway, so we would rehearse. And I would be saying my lines, and the props people would just basically move the stuffies around in the room, on my shoulders, on my head. There's Alvin over there playing on the TV. And I had to just memorize where all of the chipmunks were at all times. Because then they'd be like, okay, we're gonna shoot it. And then everything got taken out, and then I just had to remember. And I'd be like, stop it, Theodore, oh, Simon, you know, all that stuff. It was a trip. And I looked like a crazy person, but it was also one of the coolest experiments of like, exercises in imagination, you know, like as an actor, oftentimes you're just working with another actor in a scene and you have to imagine there's no crew there shooting the scene, but you don't have to do that much imagination. And then with these guys, I had to completely imagine that they were real and they were there and they were all over the place, and it was cool. It was fun in that regard. So thank you for your question. Appreciate it. Next question.
Fifth grade teacher here. This question for my students. What advice can you give them on how to be successful in school or life?
How to be successful in school or
life in general?
Or in life? Oh, wow. How much time you got? Well, I would say the most important thing to be successful in school, to be successful in life, I'm sure a lot of you guys can vouch for this, is you have to value yourself. You have to love yourself. Yeah. And these are things that I've learned the hard way. I'm sure maybe somebody else in the audience can attest to this. I didn't realize that I didn't love myself until I was 37, which by the way is only 4 years ago. I was 37 and I wanted to die. And I didn't know why. I had a great career. I thought I had failed it. Of all the things, Alvin and the Chipmunks is cool, and Chuck and Thor, and all the things entangled, none of it made me feel whole inside. So you can study so hard, you can go succeed, but if you don't actually value who you are inside, then none of it means anything. And then that, by the way, that success, that stops happening because you don't know what you're even fighting for anymore. You don't know what you're working towards. So I would say the most important piece of advice I could give anybody in this life, whether it's a kid in school and trying to figure out how to navigate those gnarly waters, which I'm so grateful that I don't have to do anymore, particularly middle school, wasn't that fucking horrible? Middle school kids are horrible. They're just horrible. If you're in middle school out there, I'm not talking about you, by the way. If you're at a convention, you're dope. It's all the people that made fun of the people that went to conventions that I had such a hard time with. I got bullied relentlessly when I was a kid. And now nerd culture is pop culture, so suck it. I love that when I was a kid, like, you know, only your fellow nerd friends knew anything about Tony Stark or Iron Man. And now, like, super hot chicks are like, oh my God, Robert Downey Jr. I love Iron Man. You're like, right. Wish you would have liked it when we were in middle school when I liked you. Anyway, so, then furthering that answer though, guys, if you haven't, if you're struggling in your life right now, if you're feeling depression, actually, you know what? I do this sometimes. I want you to raise your hand right now. Just as exercise. I want you to raise your hand if stress is something that you deal with in your life. Just raise your hand if you. Right. And by the way, feel free to look around when we do this. This is a great exercise. Okay, everybody's hands down. I want you to raise your hand if anxiety is something that you deal with on a regular basis. Oh yeah, shocker! Look at all that. Hands down. I want you to raise your hand if depression is something that you deal with on a reasonable. Yeah, exactly. We all do, guys. We all do. So we have to look at ourselves and be kind to ourselves and kind to other people. Empathy is the only way we're going to make it out of this thing alive. By the way, look at where we're at right now. This is either the state of the world right now. This is either the beginning of the end or it's the end of the beginning. So we got to love each other all the way there, right? We're going to do that? Fantastic. Great. Love it.
My question's about Chuck.
Yes.
Did you prefer filming back at the beginning when you were geeky and kind of needed to be protected, or towards the end when you were kind of kick bucket on your own too?
That's a great question. So, you know, I don't know. I think kind of more toward the end. I liked it a little bit more, mainly because you know, when you're doing a TV show, you end up, if there's no evolution to your character, you just end up playing the same note over and over again. I got so sick of saying, or rather being told to stay in the car. I hated it. I was like, why is Chuck so incapable of, like, you know, doing something on his own where he's not going to just, like, make everything blow up? Although I did defuse a lot of bombs. So, one times with apple juice. That was crazy. How many Chuck fans in the audience? Fantastic. If you haven't seen Chuck, you should. It's a fun show. Anyone who just went, woo, can tell you that. So I would say, like, later, also, even though it was funny that I had hair that made funny animal shapes, for the writing, I really hated my hair. I wanted to get a haircut so bad for years. I was like, please, 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 can I get my haircut? They're like, no, you can't get your haircut. I was like, ugh. So I liked it in the later years a bit when I was, a little more apt and capable in what I was doing, even though I was still, you know, klutzy Chuck and doing those things too. But yeah, thank you. Great question. Appreciate it. Next question. Hello.
Hi. My question is, what is your favorite line from Shazam?
My favorite line from Shazam? All of them. Well, I mean, quite literally, Shazam is one of my favorite lines from Shazam. It's so cool. I can't believe that I've gotten to, like in Chuck, they're like the catchphrases or the taglines that I've gotten to do. The fact that, like, you know, tingle, like a smolder. It's the coolest thing when you can just do like that, and then people go, oh my God! Oh my God! And I can say Shazam, and people go, oh my God! It's like a magic trick. It's so fun. It's like a superpower. It really is. I don't know, what was my favorite line from Shazam? Well, listen, Henry Gayden, who wrote the script, is a fantastic writer. He also wrote the second one, and we just finished shooting that in Atlanta. And how many people have seen Shazam? Shazamers? All right. Well done, well done. You all passed that test. So unfortunately, the movie doesn't come out till June of 2023. I know. DC has a long list of a bunch of great titles and movies that they have to, like, kind of space out over the next few years. We just are kind of, you know, later, farther in the queue a bit. But I promise you, based on what we just shot, it is going to be so fun. But the stuff that I like to do, a lot of the lines that I like probably the most, and maybe just because it's self-serving, but there are a lot of moments where they let me improvise and ad-lib stuff. So, like, when we're in the convenience store and I find out I'm bulletproof, and then we throw the bad guys out of the convenience store, and I look back and I go, you're welcome for not getting robbed. Like that was just on the spot. That was just a thing that I threw in. So that's fine. I like that stuff. Great question. Thank you. Hello, Chuck Bartowski.
Hello, Charles Carmack. I just want to say that Chuck vs. the Beard is one of my favorite episodes of any show.
Thank you very much. That was the first one I directed. Are you kissing up right now? Because it's working. It's working, bro.
My question is, what is your favorite moment from the show, and what's your favorite moment behind the scenes?
Favorite moment from that episode, or
From the entire show.
Oh, from the entire show. Oh, bro. I mean, that's 91 episodes full of so many memories. And I will also say, you know, some of you guys have heard this from me before, but I have so much love. Like, I have so much love for that cast and that crew. It was such a gnarly family that really we built in the trenches of the warfare that was making that show. Network television is not an easy thing to do. Making an hour-long action, literally, I mean, basically a mini 80s action movie every week where we didn't have enough time or enough money or enough, I mean, it was gnarly. It was really hard. It was really hard. And there were times when, I mean, quite literally, I mean, there's traumatic, I've talked in the therapy, if you've not gone to therapy, go to therapy, by the way. Tangent, go to therapy. But in therapy, I recognize just how traumatic a lot of that stuff was. So it's weird, I think back on like, what's my favorite moment, and all of a sudden that's mixed with a whole bunch of moments of like, oh man, that was fucked up, and that sucked, and whatever. But I would say that my favorite moment, I mean, gosh, I don't know how to, out of 5 years and 91 episodes, was probably kissing hot chicks, you know? I'm kidding. No, I'm not. I actually am kidding. That was fun though. We had so many great guest stars on that show, and some of them were really beautiful women, and some of them I got to kiss, and that was really fun. My girlfriend hated it. Shocker. But I think, you know, maybe directing Chuck vs. the Beard, which also, by the way, was traumatic and hard and like kicked my ass. But I was so grateful that I had my cast and my crew there. You know, I wasn't just like stepping into somebody else's or somebody else's show and like hoping that they would all respect me or trust me or whatever. I had my family being like, cool, Zach, what are we doing? I go, cool, let's go and do it, you know? So that was a huge moment for me. And also, it was the first thing I ever like properly directed. It got me into the Directors Guild and all that stuff. So really, you already knew what the answer was gonna be when you said it. Great cosplay. You're all, by the way, anyone who's dressed up in Buy More cosplay, you're welcome for the easiest cosplay ever created in the face of the world. I see you back there. I see you, my Buy Morons. Next question. Oh, hello, Blondie.
Hello, Eugene.
Frying pans. Who knew, right?
Right. So it's just, my question is in relation, since you've done both live action and animation work,
yes.
Those are very different. What are your experiences with those, and what are the differences?
Yeah. Well, you know, honestly, the biggest difference is that one, you don't have to shower for it. You know. Thank you. Yes. Front row gets it. No, I mean, literally though. I mean, you know, you do a live action job. You actually get a whole bunch of assistance in creating what that world is going to be, right? Like I've got wardrobe, I've got hair and makeup, I don't need a lot. And then you have other actors, and you're on a set, and like there's all these things that help build out what that world is that you get to step into, you know? With animation, it's just you in a booth. And by the way, also, a lot of people don't know this, you don't record your dialogue with your other actors. Tangled, Mandy and I didn't have one session where we recorded our dialogue together. I mean, I think we did one that was like for publicity purposes or whatever, and they took photos and like, look at us doing it. Fake news, guys. So it's weird. It's a very different type of an energy, but, and also, you know, I'm very clearly very, you know, outgoing in areas and use my hands to talk and move, and you know, it's amazing. By the way, this is also, as you probably have noticed, how difficult has it been to connect to people or understand people with a fucking mask on their face? It's so hard. It is so hard. And so you clap for it, you can move for it, you can do whatever you want. I mean, it's crazy, right? It's crazy. I can't wait till they all go away. Anyway, so you know, as an actor, you're feeding on all that stuff in a live action way, but in voiceover, you're having to basically create an entire character just with your voice. Now, obviously, the animators help you out a lot. they do a great job of bringing those things to life. But you have to somehow infuse into your voice everything that would come in an otherwise live action kind of a thing, and it's harder than one might think. You know, it's you go into a booth and you might just like start talking, but it might be a little like monotone or bland. So you got to figure out all those moments where you kind of bring your voice up or bring your voice down, or you know, the inflections, the emphasis, and all that stuff. So that's kind of the biggest difference in the acting part of it. But again, going back to the joke earlier, it's kind of great when you don't have to shower or shave or whatever, and you can just like come to work. Not that I didn't shower, guys. I really want to make this clear. I shower every day, for the most part. Thank you. Somebody cares. Excellent question. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Next question.
What would you say was your most difficult, like, role that you played?
Ooh. I don't know. They're all kind of difficult, and like every role kind of has its own little challenges and stuff. I mean, you know, Chuck, like I was just saying, it was so fulfilling and so rewarding, but it was so difficult to actually make that joke. Tangled has its challenges of, you know, you're in a voiceover booth and you don't have anybody to kind of work with, but also that can be fun sometimes too. Shazam, we shot in Toronto. The first one we shot in Toronto in the middle of one of the coldest winters on record. And, wow, that was fun. And the movie is like 75% exterior night. Like the whole carnival and all that stuff at the end. That took weeks and weeks. And I swear to you, we had guys, I kind of felt like when you're in the suit, which is so cool. By the way, I'm about to kind of rant a little bit on the suit and the difficulties of the suit, but just keep in mind, it's so fucking cool. I am so fucking grateful. I get to be a superhero with spandex and a cape. And if you ever get that chance, you fucking jump in that shit. Anyway, but it's also a pain in the ass. Because the suit's super tight, and you can't even go poop. You get a little zipper situation right here for your cod piece. Which, by the way, on the first one, they made it so difficult, I had people my costumers had to come in here. I had to sit like this. And then my costumers would like unzip. I felt like a 2-year-old, like upseas mommy, like that's what you feel like in the suit. It's crazy. It's crazy. So there's that. But as I was saying, it was so cold that we had these guys, literally their entire job, they had these like propane heaters, like these like kind of portable propane heaters, and we would cut, and they would run it. Of course, the entire crew was like in Canada Goose and parkas and beanies and toques, and I mean, depending on if you're from Canada, it's a toque. Anyway, they're all super covered up and scarfed. We're all freezing. Those super suits, they do not keep you warm, FYI, in the cold times, and they also don't keep you cool in the hot times. So shooting it in Atlanta in the middle of summer was also a treat, but not nearly as bad as the middle of winter in Toronto. So these guys with these propane heaters, it would be cut, and they would run it almost like you're like a pit crew almost, right? Like and they would come in, and they would light these heaters, and we're just. There was the scene where we stopped the mugger in the park where he's trying to get the girl. Jack and I don't even know. I don't know what the temperature was. It was death. It was minus death. I don't know what it was. Jack and I were doing the scene, and we had to do extra takes because in the middle of the takes, our mouths started to I don't know if you've ever been in cold like this. I don't recommend it. Where it's so cold that you start losing motor skills. Our mouths started to get numb and started moving slower. And so our diction got all screwed up, and then they had I sound like Bill Cosby for some reason. Jello pudding pop. So we had to do extra takes because it was so cold and our mouths were freezing. So anyway, I think that answered your question. Yeah, great question. Thank you. I mean, listen, that's a great question. If your question gets me up on that chair with my legs spread, then it's a great question. What's up?
So obviously you play Shazam, and
I do.
Yes, and The Rock is playing your arch nemesis.
He is?
Black Adam.
Come on, what?
Do you think you could beat The Rock in a fight?
This is one of the funny. What's your name?
Jake.
Jake. Zach. Pleasure to meet you. This is one of the silliest questions I ever get asked, and I'm not calling you silly, but like online particularly, there are so many, and I won't say trolls, but I won't not say trolls. People that are like, oh my god, like they'll post pictures of The Rock's workouts and tag me and be like, oh man, you better look out. I'm like, what the fuck? This is a movie, you dumbass. This is make-believe. It's make-believe. Also, I find it very silly that people even equate size to strength in comic book movies. Peter Parker is a damn teenager. He's a teenager, a scrawny teenager, and he fights massive bad guys and nobody questions it. But all of a sudden it's like, oh, have you seen Zachary Levi? He's nowhere near the size of The Rock. I'm like, who fucking cares? It's fake. But if I ever fought The Rock in real life, he'd probably kick my ass. I don't know. He's a massive dude. I don't ever intend to fight The Rock in real life. Unless he screws with my family or something, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Mahalo, bro. Oh, wow. Who's next? Hi. Oh, Shazam. Hey, did you know that I played Shazam? And that Black Adam is going to be my nemesis? That guy just told me. I'm kidding.
What was your favorite line in Shazam?
Oh yeah, well I would go back to the one I said earlier. You're welcome for not getting robbed. I think that was a fun one. I don't know. What was your favorite line in Shazam?
When he shot like those demons out of his eyes.
Oh.
And you're like, bro, your aim sucks balls.
There you go. From the mouths of babes. Excellent question, thank you. Who's next? I just need to start asking you guys these things right back. I don't know, what's yours? Yes.
Okay, so first of all, I want to say happy Chuck birthday yesterday.
Oh! Wait, was it?
Yeah, it was Chuck's birthday yesterday.
Chuck Bartowski's birthday was yesterday.
Yes,
that's right. He's a Virgo.
Happy birthday to you next week.
Thank you. Yes, my birthday is next week. Wait, is it next week? Hold on a second. What's today's date? The 19th. It's in 10 days, so not next week.
Well, next week.
Yeah.
Because mine's 2 days later, so I know.
Oh, okay, cool. Copy that. So really, you just wanted to talk about yourself. I get it.
Yeah, that's what I do. I get up here and talk about myself. Sorry, this is really short.
I'm kidding. What's up?
So, I'm a Chuck fan, obviously.
Probably.
And I'm a Fandral fan. And Ray, I enjoyed the movie. Ray, where you played Ray.
Shades of Ray?
Yes, Shades of Ray.
Thank you very much, I appreciate that.
Yeah, and of course she's a Shazam fan.
I can see that little Darla over there is rocking that costume.
Yeah, she's my little Darla.
Yes, she is.
So I am going to have to read this because this is from the mind of my then 6-year-old daughter on the way to school one morning.
Okay.
So she said, you were then 6.
You were then 6, and you were now 6 and 1 week.
Yeah, she's 7. She's 7. She's correcting me. So she said, if you have the power of teleportation and think about the future, wouldn't you teleport to the future? Then Shazam could have just gone to the future and seen everything was okay.
Say that again. I didn't track.
This is why I had to write it down.
No, of course, yeah.
I'm with you. She said, if you have the power of teleportation.
I got the power of teleportation, which, by the way, is the best power. We'll get into that. Yeah.
And think about the future.
And I think about the future.
Wouldn't you just teleport to the future, and then Shazam could just go to the future and see that everything was going to be okay?
Whoa. Okay, well, let's break this down. I've got teleportation, but I don't have time travel. Teleportation is not time travel. So do I also have time travel?
Oh, that's perfect.
She's like, I don't know. Well, listen, if I have time travel and I have teleportation, which are kind of separate things, I don't know that I would want to go to the future. I've thought a lot about this, guys. I'm sure everyone in this room has. Teleportation, you had to pick one superpower. I think teleportation is a superpower, and this is why. Most people say flight. I get that, because flying would be super fucking cool. However, if you don't have super strength to go along with your flight, then you're flying solo everywhere you go, right? You're just like, cool, I'm up here, my friends are down there, Well, and flying also, you're gonna have to, you know, you gotta account for like wind and bugs and all that kind of weather, right? But teleportation, as we all know from the comics that we love so much, typically comes with whatever you touch comes with you. So if I got 10 fingers and 10 toes, and elbows and whatever, I can bring my family, friends, and all of our luggage to Bermuda like that. Right? And technically, if you teleport, you could teleport real fast and kind of fly doing it. You know what I mean? You just teleport up and up and up and up and up and then down, 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 down. You guys have put a lot of thought into this. Clearly. So that would be dope. But I hesitate from the time travel thing because I think we all learned a few lessons in Back to the Future 2. And if we learned nothing else, it's that you don't leave Biff with a sports almanac so he fucks up the future. And so I don't like meddling in the future because I think it might screw things up in a bad way, and I don't want to do that. Although I guess the future. Yeah, no, I'm second guessing myself, but now I'm third guessing myself. I'm going to stick with it. I'm not going to the future, but I appreciate the question. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Darla, you're adorable. Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
From the Wienerlicious.
I mean, it's the best Sarah.
There's so many great Sarah looks, right? Wienerlicious Sarah, Orange Sarah. I haven't seen any Orangers today. Also a very easy cosplay. Yes, what's your question?
She has a corset on, so like that makes her better.
Yeah.
So my question for you is, what is your favorite musical? And if you were to, or let me rephrase that. What is your favorite that you have done, whether regional, community theater, on Broadway, whatever?
Big River.
Big River. Okay.
My favorite. Yep.
And if you could pick a bucket list part in a musical, what would it be?
Big River. Well, so if anybody has not seen, by the way, it's difficult. Like live theater is tough because they happen and they're gone. So it's now with Broadway HD and stuff. Thank God, like She Loves Me is on Broadway HD, so people can see that. Oh, thank you. Any She Loves Me fans in there? All right. If you haven't seen it, by the way, there's a really cool app network channel thing called Broadway HD, and you can watch like all kinds of Broadway shows that have been recorded, and they're up on this channel. And She Loves Me is on there, so if you get a chance, I recommend it. It's a really fun show, very heartwarming, like all of my work. Anyway, but unfortunately, First Date, which was the first Broadway show I did. Oh, okay. Did you actually see? I want to show of hands who actually saw First Date. Boom. 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay. I like all you the most. But as we found out, by the way, there's like only one recording of First Date, and it's like this janky bootleg, like somebody's up in like the third mezzanine. By the way, it's actually really adorable because they illegally filmed the show. Right? You're not supposed to go into a show and film the show. They illegally did it, but they were so polite because they kept putting the camera down to applaud after every one of the musical numbers. I was like, I mean, if you're gonna do it, like, commit. Anyway, so it's weird. Like, you know, you don't get to see a lot of these things, unfortunately. But there's a show called Big River. If you ever get a chance, it's basically the musical version of The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, and I played Huck Finn naturally when I was 16, and it's so great. Roger Miller does all the music for it, and by the way, that book is just an incredible book anyway. So it's really a cool way to bring that story to life. That was my favorite show. That's probably my favorite role to play in any of my theatrical performances. But I have love for all of them. And if I could play, I don't know. I don't know. Harold Hill maybe in The Music Man, but like that's been done, you know. And actually, I think Hugh Jackman is. Oh, he's not doing it. Well.
So yeah, no.
Wolverine's out, is he?
Well, there was an issue with the director.
What's that?
There was an issue with the director.
Oh, there's an issue with it.
Both Hugh and Sutton have said no, I'm not going to do it.
What? Hugh and Sutton Foster both left the show because of the director?
So it's no longer happening.
Oh, guys, this is gossip. Ooh, spill that tea.
And from what I understand, I could be wrong about this.
This is going to end up online. I'm going to start getting hate mail from people. You said, kidding. Well, maybe I'll look into that. I don't know. It's fun. The problem, though, with Harold Hill is that it's not really a singing part. It's more talk singing, you know what I mean? But it's a great show. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll let you know.
Beetlejuice this is going back to its original theater, which is why it got
At the Winter Garden. Exactly. Yeah.
So it's going back.
All right, cool. Thank you for the question. Appreciate you. Who's next? Hello.
Hi, Zach.
More Chuck cosplay. Fantastic.
I love Chuck too.
I can tell you're literally dressed as me.
Okay, so I don't know if this has been asked because I was very nervous because I love you. But I wanted to know, do you have a favorite behind-the-scenes moment of Chuck?
Oh, what?
I want to know if you had a favorite behind-the-scenes moment with Chuck.
Favorite behind-the-scenes moment? Well, I mean, honestly, like, Josh Gomez and I, fuck, I love that guy so much. Really. You know what? I want a round of applause for Josh Gomez right now. Are you hearing this, Josh? This is how much people love you. All right, that's enough. So Josh and I, we weren't acting, FYI. We were those people. Well, that's not true. Josh wasn't Morgan Grimes entirely because Morgan wasn't all that intelligent all the time, and Josh is super smart. But he and I, super nerds, both of us, both were gamers, hardcore gamers, and I mean, literally from day one, like the original Buy More set, which was like we shot in a store, I think in Redondo Beach or something. It was like an old Circuit City or something. And then once the pilot got picked up, then we built our Buy More and all that jazz. But on the pilot, literally, I brought my Xbox and Josh and I would play Gears of War between takes. Every single, like all day, every day. I had my Xbox in my trailer. We would play whatever with the new, so that's my favorite behind the scenes kind of in between moments. Like it's just me and Josh hanging out and making each other laugh. Oh my God, that guy would make me laugh so hard. We would be doing scenes and we couldn't keep a straight face. And so we had this thing. It was literally like our deal that we would do. It's like if one of us couldn't stop laughing, we would slap each other across the face. Be like, get it together, smack him, and then we'd have to get into it. Because thinking about dead puppies just doesn't work, unfortunately. Don't think about dead puppies. Thank you for your question. Appreciate it.
Hello. Two questions. First one, does Billy Batson, when he grows up, is he gonna be Shazam, or are you gonna be Billy Batson and Shazam?
Oh, bro, that's way above my pay grade. I have no idea. You'd have to ask the people at Warner Brothers in DC. But hopefully it's gonna be me forever. It'll be me forever.
And then one other thing, my family wanted to know if your closet is just exclusively black and navy blue shirts.
I was waiting for somebody to ask that question. I'm a firm believer in this concept of minimalism. I think that, I legitimately believe this, and bear with me for a second. I super love, what am I trying to say? This is no judgment on anybody else who is not a minimalist, but I really firmly believe philosophically that we are all basically just marketed to constantly, and we are all just consumers to corporations and to industries, and they don't care how much they ultimately weigh us down with the things that we purchase from them. They don't care. They just want us to spend and spend and spend and spend. And I think that so much of why we do these things is because we've been programmed with this concept in our minds of kind of keeping up with the Joneses. Like the American dream, the Western dream, whatever that is like basically, if you boil it down, if you have the right house in the right neighborhood with the right car and the right spouse and the right amount of kids that go to the right schools, and you have the right job and make the right amount of money, and you have the right amount of toys and the pool and the thing and whatever, finally you're going to be happy. And let me tell you guys something, that's a fucking lie from the pit of hell. That is not true at all. You cannot find happiness through materialism. You can own the world and you can be soulless and unhappy till the day you die. So, because of that, because I think it's a lie from the pit of hell, I've really tried to not just exercise in my own life, but try to be an example of what minimalism looks like. And because I think something is, maybe this is a very dude thing to think, but I don't think something's dirty unless it looks dirty or it smells dirty. And if it's neither of those things, I'll wear that thing every fucking day. I don't care. I don't care. I have worn this exact outfit, as probably some of you have seen, every day. When I was at Dragon Con in Atlanta, I wore the same outfit every damn day. And the reality is, the reason why we typically don't do that is because we're afraid that somebody's going to judge us and go like, oh my God, I can't believe they're wearing the same thing. And guess what? Nobody fucking cares, guys. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And if they do care, don't have them in your life. That's not the type of person you want in your life. Wear what you want, when you want. And by the way, I prefer wearing things that I like. I feel like I feel good in this. Like, you don't have to just wear whatever, but wear stuff that you feel good in. Wear stuff that's comfortable. And by the way, occasionally you're gonna go to something where you get dressed up. Go get dressed up. And by the way, in fashion as an idea, I'm not against fashion. I think fashion is it's a cool way to artistically express who you are through your clothing. But that's it. All of this like Met Gala stuff and what I don't know. I have no idea what it. All of that is a lot of posturing to me. I think it's a lot of people being like, look at me. It's posing and it's all that kind of stuff. It's like, that's not real life. That's not authenticity. That's not vulnerability. I want to get in with people like this, like right now, like having conversations about real shit, you know? And if we're wasting our time because how much time do you waste now, or by then, this is where I learned a lot of this stuff, was in high school, because I was constantly trying to fit in with the cool kids. And what a waste of fucking time that was. Cool kids are not cool. They're not. They're just jerks that you feel like, oh, if I get their approval, maybe I'll fit into whatever this social ecosystem that is high school. And how many of you are still friends with all of your friends in high school? 2 people. I see 4. I see 5.
I'm currently in high school.
You're currently in high school. Let me tell you something. It's a big bubble and it's going to burst, and you're not going to see any of those people almost ever again in your life. Do not waste your time trying to be liked by other people who are fucked up and they need therapy. All these people that bullied us in school, that's because they were bullied. They didn't understand. They need therapy. So don't waste your time trying to fit in like that. Just figure out how to love you. You figure out how to love you. Do that. And then you can love others. That's great. Thank you. Who's next? Woo! I love these panels, guys. It's like a TED Talk with stand-up comedy meets a Sunday sermon. I love it.
Good afternoon.
What's going on?
Thank you for being here, Zachary. I would just like to request a proper small.
See, it's like a magic trick.
Thank you.
It's crazy. You're welcome. That was easy. That was easy.
Hi. Hi. I wanted to know what your favorite role to play was.
My favorite role to play? Ooh, I mean, kind of all of them. All of them have something to offer, I think, that I really enjoyed, and not just because it's maybe the most recent and the biggest thing that I've done, but honestly, playing Shazam is so darn fun. It's so fun. I even got that job was a miracle. I mean, no joke. I was like, the therapy that I told you about before, like not wanting to live. And by the way, I'm writing a book, and this will all be in the book. It's all about mental health, but I had a massive breakdown. I didn't want to live. I went to this super intensive therapy, and on the heels of, like literally just barely finally seeing the light again, I'm like, oh my God, actually, I don't want to die. I think there's purpose left in life. And then I got the audition for a whole other role in Shazam, and I put myself on tape for that. From therapy, by the way, from where I was staying. And then I got the job for Shazam. It felt very God, you know when you see that you can just see God's fingerprints on something, you're like, I don't know how this happened. This was not my deal. This was not my doing. I was just kind of walking and trusting and faithing, and all of a sudden I got this job. And the reality is, I think I got hired because I'm just a massive child. I mean, like, there's so much of me that just never grown up, but I think the good parts of me that didn't grow up, I think the parts of me that needed to grow up, grew up, and the parts of me that I needed to, that we all need to kind of protect and hold on to, and imagination and creativity and the way that we see each other, because we need to see each other like kids see each other, guys. You need to see the 5-year-old in everybody. You need to see that person. There's a person in there. They might be a terrible person, but there's still a human in there. We have to value that. We have to humanize that. We cannot keep dehumanizing each other. I don't know what tangent I just went on, but anyway, so for Shazam, I just get to be like a big kid. I just get to run around and do silly things and shoot lightning from my hands, and it's so fun. And it's been such a massive blessing in my life. But other than that, I mean, Chuck was probably, like I said, I didn't even have to act. That was just me showing up and being like, what do I do? Oh, I just do the thing I do normally and be nerdy. Okay, great. So, yeah, I'd say those two. Thank you. Great question. Hi.
Hi, Zach.
Hello.
What type of role would you like to play that you haven't done yet?
Ooh, I want to play more bad guys.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen? I did this really random zombie-ish movie called Office Uprising. Has anybody seen that movie? Can you show him? Wow, only one person. If you get a chance, Brenton Thwaites, who's on Titans, the lead of Titans. He's the lead. Jane Levy's in it from Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. But I play this like manager. I'm like an office manager at this like arms dealer company. I don't know. It's very wacky. Actually, I'm not going to tell you anymore. You're just going to go watch it and you'll enjoy it. But I play this guy who's just like weird and menacing and evil, and it was so fun because I don't typically play those roles because I'm really not that guy. You know, so I get cast as, you know, the nice guy, and, you know, somebody that is a big kid at heart, but I don't typically get to be bad guys. Psych the movie, I get to be a bad guy in that, but that, oh yeah, Psych, right? Which was also fun, but that was more kind of comedic and not really menacing so much as kind of silly. But I'd like to be more bad guys. Would you guys go see something if I was a bad guy? Good. I'll tell my agents. Thank you. What's the next question? I'm getting the 5-minute warning, guys. The 5-minute warning.
I'll need to work.
What's happening? Is this something I said? Bro, that was very kind of you. He just gave up his question. Yes?
So, you have worked with many people. So my question is, what was it like working with Smosh?
With Smosh? I was fun, I guess, yeah. I don't know. It was a whirlwind. That Shazam press tour was a whirlwind. And literally, we were just like stopping into places and doing random interviews and things like that. I had no idea what I was stepping into. I mean, I'm not even kidding. But I also like tell my publicists I don't like to know a lot of things ahead of time because I just like to be there in the moment and enjoy it. And so we show up at this little studio and they're like, hey, you're gonna play this weird game where you're trying to essentially not make, trying to not laugh when other people are doing random things. I was like, okay, well, let's go. So it was very like in and out. I didn't really get to hang with those guys that much, but I enjoyed it to the extent that it was enjoyable to you. Did you enjoy watching all that stuff? Good, excellent, thank you. Yeah. Who's next?
Hi, I'm Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
The pressure of the last question.
No pressure.
So, huge fan, but started out watching Chuck with my family on Monday nights. So I kind of grew up watching you on screen. So my question is, what was your friendship like with Yvonne off screen? Because y'all had such an amazing chemistry on screen.
We did.
Never dated. So I just want to know, how did y'all prepare for that? What was that relationship like?
Well, I don't know. I mean, like, as with any actor that you have a romantic relationship with on screen, it's always, you know, it's strange. Particularly if, you know, you're friends and you're like, okay, we have to kiss, we have to cuddle, and we have to do all these things. But she's lovely. I mean, she's so talented and she's so beautiful, obviously. And, you know, like I said, I mean, we're still tight, all of us, family. I mean, I don't see everybody nearly as much as I wish I did. But I know at a drop of a hat, anyone would be there for me and I would be there for any of them. So as far as Yvonne and I are concerned, I mean, you're just professionals. You're doing a thing that you do. And it's weird. It is, I don't know any other job where you get paid to go kiss people that you're not dating. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just weird. So they're like, yeah, I get it. So yeah, but we did our best. I think that, look, you guys could all, you know, it worked. The Chuck and Sarah relationship worked, and it was so much of what made that show special, and it's also partly reason why a lot of people are polarized about the ending, which I also didn't care for. But I will say, for anyone out there, in fact, I'm going to end it on this, because I do get this question quite a lot. Thank you for your question, I appreciate it. I'm going to say this. Show of hands. Who didn't fully care for the end of Chuck? Show of hands. Okay. Hands down. Hands up if you really like the end of Chuck. One guy. Everybody else is just afraid to raise their hand. So listen, I will say this for all of you guys, because people come to me and they go, did she remember? Did Sarah remember? And I go, she had to. The show, yeah, I mean, the show was far too optimistic a show to leave all of us on this note of like, it didn't work out. Like, that'd be fucked. I would be so angry if that was actually what our writers intended, and I don't think that's what they intended. I think what they were trying to do was, hey, isn't this, has he not seen it? She's literally plugging his ears right now. Spoiler alert, bro. Get the Kleenex. Rivers and Rose, bro. Holy shit. So, I can't imagine that she didn't remember. I refuse to believe in a future where she didn't remember. And yes, and if I ever get the opportunity, now I will say this, I do think what the writers are trying to do is, if you get to the end of the show, all of a sudden it's us on the beach and Chuck telling Sarah about their life together, which is the perfect way to then go rewatch the show. And you go, every episode is now Chuck telling Sarah and reminding her of what this is. Or Morgan was right and the kiss works and all of her memories come back. Or both, or whatever. But I promise you, and I'm gonna leave this on this. Leave this on this? That doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna leave it on this. I'm 40, almost 41 years old. I don't care if I'm 61 or 81. Adam might not be around anymore, but I'm still gonna try and make a Chuck movie. And I still wanna do it. And I think you are worth it. You deserve it. All of you amazing Chuck fans who supported us day in and day out and ate Subway sandwiches until the cows came home. We can't end it there. We have to give you at least one movie. But I'd like to do like Bond. I'd like to do like a Chuck movie every couple of years and have a new bad guy and bring back Timothy Dalton as Volkov. I don't know. I mean, something. I love you guys. I love you, Dallas. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here on my panel. Happy Sunday. God bless you. Love yourselves and love each other. Okay? Amen. Hallelujah. Good night.
Zachary, Levi! Shazam!